Taiwan, I'm Yvonne Yang with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The U.S. has published a rare photo of the U.S. and Taiwan Coast Guards working together. A post shared online by the de facto U.S. Embassy in Taiwan said the two vessels were conducting search and rescue and law enforcement operations. It praised the Taiwan Coast Guard's contributions to global maritime safety. The post follows a flurry of Chinese incursions into waters and airspace near Taiwan. The Minister for Taiwan's Ocean Affairs Council highlighted Beijing's undermining of international law and regional peace. Taiwan will soon host its largest annual Hanguang military exercise. As Alan Liu reports, this year's drills place more emphasis on cooperation between the military and the public, including an internet disruption drill.
Taiwan's annual Hanguang military exercise will begin next Wednesday, with a strong focus this year on urban resilience drills. Hanguang 42, Taiwan's largest military exercise of 2026, will simulate a scenario where China turns military drills into an actual attack, testing Taiwan's rapid response capabilities. This year's exercise will also expand urban resilience drills from 1 day to 2, with greater coordination with civilians. For the first time, the armed forces will also conduct a communications disruption drill in northern and central Taiwan, simulating slower internet speeds. The exercise is expected to affect around 17 million people, almost 3/4 of the population, raising public concerns about daily life and why only certain parts of the country were selected. Officials say the impact on essential public services will be minimal.
我们的演练这个时间的规划基本上还是基于通讯流量、人口密度的整体考量。演习的期间，政府将确保重要的公共服务不受影响。
The exercise follows 2 rounds of military drills held in June and July. Officials say those exercises were mainly designed to familiarize troops with the operational environment, while August Hanguang exercise will feature more unpredictable scenarios that better reflect real combat.
没有剧本，也没有按照所有的时序去进行，所以所有的磨练都是取决于所有干部对于临机状况的应处。
The Coast Guard will also take part in the exercise alongside the Navy, practicing how it would transition from peacetime to wartime operations, including refitting its vessels for military use. The military says drones will play a critical role this year, with unmanned systems being used for battlefield reconnaissance. The drills will also test inter-city mobilization and reinforcement, as well as convoy escort operations under a simulated blockade. This year's drills continue to emphasize unscripted scenarios and include more participation from civilians. As Taiwan continues to face growing military pressure from China, exercises like these are aimed at testing the country's ability to protect its people. Fu Hua Hong and Anna Lu in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
At least 13 people have died after a magnitude 7.1 earthquake hit Japan's Kumamoto region on Tuesday. But rescue and recovery work is not over yet, nor is the threat of powerful aftershocks. John Van Trieste reports.
As dawn breaks, rescue workers search for trapped survivors at a partly collapsed shopping mall in southern Japan. Officials are investigating whether a magnitude 7.1 earthquake that hit the area Tuesday caused a gas leak and a deadly explosion. Here, and at a paper plant where a chimney collapsed, hopes for finding survivors continue. All around the Kumamoto area, the earthquake has left its mark. Buckled roads and collapsed bridges, toppled buildings, overturned trains, even a collapsed moat wall at Kumamoto's famous castle, a sight that stunned those who saw it happen.
It was really something. It didn't fall down piece by piece. It came crashing down all at once. It really shocked me.
Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae says help is on the way.
Today, a task force for emergency disaster response, headed by me, has been established, following a request from the governor of Kumamoto Prefecture for disaster relief assistance. The self-defense forces have begun operations in the affected areas with about 3,600 personnel.
Japan is one of the world's most seismically active regions and is used to earthquake cleanups. Kumamoto itself had its last major earthquake only a decade ago. But Takaichi says the damage is extensive. In Kumamoto City alone, power and water are out for tens of thousands of households, and over 2,000 people are in evacuation shelters. Daily life for many here remains disrupted. The local Taiwanese community, boosted by TSMC's plant in the area, is reportedly unharmed. The chip maker said Tuesday evening it was gradually restarting work at the plant after making sure staff and facilities were safe. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has extended his concern and promised aid if needed in a Japanese-language social media post. But Kumamoto is not yet in the clear. There have been aftershocks, and the government in Tokyo warns more intense ones could be around the corner.
We ask everyone to remain alert for the possibility of further earthquakes of up to magnitude 7. In particular, residents in areas that experience the strongest shaking are urged to remain calm, closely follow evacuation information issued by local authorities through radio, television, the internet, and other official channels, and act accordingly.
With the cleanup far from over, efforts remain on rebuilding and recovering. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is protesting to the South African government over its electronic travel authorization system, which lists Taiwan as part of China. South Africa's e-visa platform was launched last year and is still being rolled out. Taiwan passport holders are not yet eligible to sign up online, but drop-down menus on the site already list Taiwan as Taiwan, China. The Foreign Ministry says the Republic of China, Taiwan is a sovereign state and not subordinate to the People's Republic of China. There's been ongoing diplomatic tension between Taiwan and South Africa. The two sides have been negotiating over Pretoria's request for Taipei to relocate and downgrade its representative offices in the country. Taiwan's foreign ministry says that it will stop buying some liquefied natural gas from Papua New Guinea as ties between the two countries deteriorate. Leslie Liao has more.
Taiwan is ceasing some fuel purchases from Papua New Guinea in response to the Pacific Island nation's order to close Taiwan's representative office there. Taiwan is one of the largest importers of Papua New Guinea's liquefied natural gas, buying more than 1.8 million tons last year. It will now stop buying LNG from them on the spot market.
我方目前呢已经盘点我对巴纽的依位跟农业相关的元素规模，以及对该国 LNG 的购买额度，那并已正式的停止向巴纽采购现货的天然气。
The spot market is only for purchases with immediate delivery and payment. Taiwan still has long-term contracts to import LNG from Papua New Guinea, and limiting sources from any specific country under those contracts would require further negotiations. An analyst said the move to limit only spot market purchases may have a limited effect on PNG's calculus.
What this does is it says we're not going to buy anything above what we contracted to buy. So if we have any extra demand, we'll get it from Qatar or we get it from Australia or the US rather than from you guys. So it's not great for Papua New Guinea, but it's certainly not going to cause them to lose too much sleep.
Taiwan has rejected the order to close its Papua New Guinea office, which continues to operate. The office is still communicating with PNG officials in an attempt to stabilize ties. At the same time, Taiwan's foreign ministry is working with like-minded partners on the issue. It is also considering other measures to respond to Papua New Guinea's decision. So far, Taipei has not announced any further countermeasures, but it says it will continue to reevaluate ties as the situation develops. Justin Wu and Leslie Liao in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Nvidia is working on AI deals worth more than $750 billion US. But some investors are worried about circular financing, where Nvidia helps fund the very companies that buy its chips. They said it could artificially inflate the market. To assess the risks, our reporter Lily Lamartina spoke to Rolf Balk, head of semiconductors and infrastructure at the Futurum Group.
Nvidia is in the headlines for striking massive deals, including with SK Group involving memory chips and OpenAI for a data center project. Can you talk to us about the significance of these deals?
It has been a flurry of deals over the last few weeks, but I do think that we should separate the types of deals that are being made. You know, on one hand, you have deals such as between Broadcom and Samsung, and such as between Nvidia and SK Hynix, which are really supplier deals first and foremost. And on the other hand, you have deals such as announced or rumored yesterday between Nvidia and OpenAI. Now, these are deals in which Nvidia is essentially backstopping OpenAI, i.e. guaranteeing some of the obligations of OpenAI. And that is a very different type of deal than the ones that we have seen between SK and Nvidia and Broadcom and Samsung. And it is those latter deals that investors are more concerned about.
Now, these deals are also raising concerns over what's known as circular financing. Can you explain to our audience what that means and why NVIDIA's deals are drawing scrutiny?
So in a nutshell, circular financing here means that the supplier of the chips, Nvidia, is at the same time financing the purchase of those chips, i.e. a circular dynamic. And the concern here is that ultimately, if these chips, these GPUs, do not generate the return that is required, that Nvidia will be left holding the bag, since they are guaranteeing these investments. And if OpenAI cannot guarantee the investments, then it will be Nvidia that will have to put up the money. Now, of course, the whole premise here, the only instance in which this becomes a issue is if demand for AI is not materializing.
So the concern is that some of this demand may be being manufactured through the deals themselves. How concerned should investors be?
I do think that compute demand continues to outweigh supply. We've seen Google last week increasing their capex budget for 2026 by another 15 billion. They're now set to spend over 200 billion in 2026 alone. Google has very good visibility on whether those investments that they are making, whether that can be monetized or not. We've also seen TSMC and ASML over the last few weeks increase their guidance, their long-term guidance. So everything points to sustained demand for AI and for the compute that is required for AI workloads. So in that context, I'm not too concerned in the near term. Now, in the long term, of course, who knows what the world is going to look like 5 years from now.
That was Rolf Bock of the Futurum Group. Roomier rides are coming to Taipei's metro, with the city unveiling new high-capacity trains built to tackle rush hour crowds. Reese Ayers reports.
Sleeker, wider, and Korean, Taipei's metro is getting an upgrade. The city has unveiled the first of 10 new trains from South Korea's Hyundai Rotem. They're scheduled to hit the tracks by mid-2027 to support the opening of the Xinyi Line Eastern Extension.
非常开心，我们今天迎来全新的车厢，我们接下来陆续会正式的上线，来提高未来尖峰时段每一个小时增加12000多人次。
That focus on efficiency is even clearer once you step inside. Among the most obvious features is the increased space. Chairs have been pushed against the wall to increase standing space and maximize passenger flow. The new fleet introduces several smart features, including smart doors and phone charging points, designed to make daily travel safer and more comfortable.
我们增加了 AI 人工的一个辨识功能，让列车在收车的时候能够自动侦测车厢里面是不是还有旅客忘记下车，这一部分我们可以有助于避免旅客被载运到机场这一块。
As Taipei's metro network continues to expand, city officials hope these high-capacity upgrades will keep the capital moving smoothly for years to come. Luffy Li and Reese Ayers in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with Moulin Rouge dancers performing in Paris as the Tour de France comes to a close. I'm Yvonne Young. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app or follow us on social media. And by the way, this over here is drone soccer.